I'm just kidding. I wouldn't actually let Planty anywhere near the microphone again. Not after, last time, which I think we should move on from. Got a pineapple. I actually considered doing a video blog of me just holding a pineapple, but not make any reference to it and just see how many people left comments. This has very little to do with what I was actually going to be talking about today. Blog A. Highly successful because they started early and they joined with a very large company and they post pornography. Blog B started fairly early, was a spin-off of an already existing large brand, posted pornography, and also used their very small but very passionate community to game social networking site dig.com. Site 3 started early, very successfully, was a spin-off from an already existing website and uses quality plus integration with lots of other blogs in a very large network to be successful. Blog D became successful by taking staff from an already existing website and brand and whatnot and turned it and brought a lot of their community with them. All of these are cheats. All of these are people taking advantage of things unique to them and being successful. And that is what every good piece of marketing is essentially cheating. And we need to start cheating as Nukezilla if we want to be successful. Now, the reason why I am worried about being, or thinking about being successful again, is because for the next couple of months, like, my workload has decreased, which is great because I worked loads last month, which is why I didn't do very much. But it means that my concentration is now moving back onto Nukezilla and Wire and stuff, which is, very good. I mean, looking at the stats on Wire, it has kind of sort of quietened down, which is fair enough because not much was actually happening with it. Wire, for those of you who don't know, essentially is a glorified RSS feed that it takes all of the gaming news and then does fancy processing and works out statistically what's the most trending thing, and then people can vote on stuff. So it's kind of like a cross between Dig and Reddit and all of these other websites, but specific to gaming, and I made it. There's going to be a fair few updates with that to make the whole system a bit simpler and a bit sort of easier to use. I think that wire.vg, which is a website you should go to, could be Nukezilla's way to cheat. It could be that in 2 years' time, people are like, oh, Nukezilla's only successful because they are owned by the company that owns that wire.vg, that quite successful video game news aggregation service, and so they gamed their system on there, which is fine because we are not also massive dickheads and success would be great. We need to start cheating if we want to be successful, because just writing good quality content never gets anyone anywhere. And this was another point that I was going to make that I've thankfully remembered in time for this video. The forums, the Nukezilla forums, are sort of very much making a lot of noise at the moment, and if you are wanting to kind of get in with the Nukezilla community, because it's quite nice that because we're small enough that all of the writers, well, we all know each other, and we all know a lot of the community people. It's kind of like if you listen to the NZ cast, me and Gavin know a lot of the regular question askers, and we're actually forming, this community is really sort of coming together, which is awesome. So head over to the forum. If you haven't used it before, there's an introduce yourself thing, and start a thread in there, and say hello. But I reckon we can use this forming of 20, 30, 50 people to actually start working on how we're gonna cheat, because I think if we can cheat wire.vg up, we can then use that to pull Nukezilla up, or at least we can use money generated from that to then pay people at Nukezilla, so that, I mean, we don't actually need that much because we're a very, very cheap site. We don't need that much to actually function, well, because we're not all selfish dickheads. I think that's basically everything I want to say. I apologise if it was all a bit like, brah, but I don't know, I've been feeling kind of in a weird, jumpy mood today, and it's not because I'm hopped up on caffeine. I've only had my one large coffee today. Maybe it's this new diet that I'm on where I don't eat crap food and I actually eat good food in small quantities that's giving me all this energy. Maybe this is what normal people are like, and I've just been totally doing it wrong. Or maybe it's this new robe that I have. Oh. When I walk down the corridor, it actually goes like swoosh. Which, considering it was 10 quid from Primark, pretty good going. So, What are you up to on Sunday? How would you... I might start, because, like, you guys never ask me questions, because these videos aren't that interesting, but I might start asking you questions, and leave them in the comments. But how do you reckon, realistically, what do you reckon ways are to cheat? Not necessarily ways that we should do, but how do you reckon, like, the concept of cheating as marketing, I think is quite fascinating. And so hop in the comments and just sort of leave your thoughts. So have a little think about it. Make a brew, have a think about it, and be like, and if you don't have a beard, you can, like, fondle your ear. That's always quite a good, like, thinking thing. Hello? So what are you up to?